All right, Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites. We come week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this society and the upliftment of Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians on the sign, who are the true children of Israel, the true chosen people of God that the scriptures, the Bible, are written about. We're going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Wakad. That's the Lord, the one they ignorantly call God, in the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. All right, that's how we say it in our original tongue. All right, Hebrew. We're going to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim around the four corners who are preaching this word and believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. All right, so what was your first question, brother?
My first question was, well, I have quite a few. So, it's my understanding, well, you showed me something with the Roman Catholic leader being black.
The early church consisted of our people, okay? But our people, like always, our people have mixed some truth and some falsehood.
Yeah.
All right, so Constantine, during the Council of Nicaea, Constantine was a dark-skinned man. He ruled what they call the Byzantine Empire. Really, in that day and time, it was known as the East Holy Roman Empire. They didn't consider themselves Byzantine. All right, but to get back to your point, Constantine was the emperor of Rome, and he was a dark-skinned man. He was the first one to incorporate paganism with the Bible. Modern day Christianity says that they start with Constantine the Great. What he did was, in order to unite his kingdom, he took the scriptures, because Christianity, what they call Christianity, was becoming popular. He took the scriptures and added pagan customs with it, which is why people celebrate Easter, not Passover. All right. So what is celebrated today as Christianity has nothing to do with the Bible. All right. That's what Constantine did at the Council of Nicaea. He joined in customs of pagans into the scriptures. Okay, so him and the early church popes were dark-skinned men. Okay, so they all worked together. So they all worked together to get what you call Christianity today. All right, Islam came out of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. All right, because they wanted to get the Arabs, which are known as Ishmael in the Bible, the Ishmaelites, out of the Holy Land. So they used Khadijah and they used Muhammad to create a religion to where they pray towards Mecca instead of the Holy Land to try to get them out. But really, they created a beast that they couldn't control. Just to get to, kind of answer your question.
From what I understand, you know what I mean? Like, the Roman Church is responsible for, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess taking, alright, so my studies take me as far back to, ancient Kemet, you know what I mean? Yeah, and it's I'm from Jamaica, and in Jamaica, everyone's birth certificate has the cross on it,
right?
The Roman cross. It's the origination of Christianity and things of that nature.
Right. And
from my study, this just shows that, a lot of these ideologies came from, ancient Kemet and things of that nature. So how does a black man play a role? How did that come about? Where a black person come into,
we discussed Constantine, right? Constantine used, because they have what you have to understand is that the Greeks and the Romans got their gods from Kemet. All right, so Kemet's gods, Horus, Ra, they created the exact same gods. They just changed the name. All right, the Greek god Jupiter, which is what we know as Zeus today, was originally a black statue. So in the ancient Greeks, when they prayed to Jupiter, in essence, it was a black man they were praying to. Okay? All of these customs got passed down from civilization to civilization. You said that you started off at Kemet. Do you know what Kemet got their belief in their mystery system from?
That's the thing, the further back I go, it's it's either taking me to somewhere unknown or Jesus. Or off the planet, you know what I mean?
You want to get Genesis and Nimrod? Because all the scholars know that before Egypt, it was Sumeria. The ancient land of Sumeria. All of the gods that the Phoenicians got they got them from the ancient Sumerians, which were the original Babylonians. All right, so Horus, I believe Horus is the one that they say he was birthed out of immaculate conception.
Yeah.
They got that from Babylonians. So the Babylonians have the same deity, which is called Tammuz.
And they predate Kemet?
Yes, they do. They predate Kemet. So Tammuz was the original Horus.
So then the ancient Egyptian civilization wasn't the oldest.
No, so
They're not the oldest. No. So this modern day idea of Kemet is that they're the originals, but really they got what they learned from the Mesopotamian area, Fertile Crescent, and the Babylonians. Okay.
What did they? I'm sorry, I wasn't to interrupt.
They're of the nation of Ham, which are the Africans. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff to get off. So I'm trying to give you as much as I can in small bites.
I understand.
So Babylonians were dark-skinned people as well.
Yeah.
At that point in time, all the people on the earth were dark-skinned, with the exception of Cain. Okay, which goes back to the descendants. Their descendants are walking the earth today.
Cain and Abel?
Yes. So Cain was given a mark.
Yeah.
Okay, you got flip to Babylon.
Yeah.
Come.
All right. This Genesis chapter 10, start at verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And he began, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. Right? So I'm going to jump to Genesis chapter 11. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar,
Right.
and they dwelt there.
Exactly. So that area is what the scholars today call ancient Sumeria, the Akkadians. All of these Fertile Crescent civilizations. The scriptures talk about it as well. But what you have now is the historians today, in order to confuse people, they've changed the names. So you see where it said the town of Babel.
Yeah.
Now, the tribe of Benjamin, which is the West Indians, they always chant down Babylon. This was the original Babylon. Okay, the mystery systems that Kemet had, they came from the first Babylon. All right, you had Nimrod. What was his wife name? Semiramis. And when Nimrod died, she wanted to continue ruling, but she couldn't continue ruling without a man. So what she said was that Tammuz, the child that she had, was from Nimrod, even though he was already dead, which gives you the first immaculate conception. Okay, now in the scriptures, there's no immaculate conception in the scriptures. All right, the scriptures talk about the Lord being born of a man. Joseph actually had sex with Mary. So the immaculate conception that you have in the scriptures comes from this. Genesis chapter 10 with the Tower of Babel. That mystery system has just been passed down from every civilization. All right, the Phoenicians, which the world knows as Egyptians today, which their line actually goes to Mizraim. So in the scriptures, when you see Egypt in the Hebrew, it's Matazarian. Okay, after the Mizraim, which is the father of the Egyptians. Okay, that whole mystery system they got, the Greeks got it. When Alexander conquered Egypt, they had access to the Egyptian priests and the libraries, their scrolls. So they just regurgitated everything they learned from them and passed it down to the Romans. Okay, so all of the gods that the Romans had, they all got it from the Kemet, and Kemet got it from Sumer. All right, so that's where you get all of these similitudes. All right, and Constantine, what he did was he fused the mystery systems of Babylon into the scriptures, because he needed his whole population to come together. He didn't want to have to persecute the Christians because it was growing popular and it would make him look like a bad president. It's like if you were the head of a country and you're trying to unite your country, all right, I'm going to take this religion, I'm going to mix a little bit of both. Can we compromise? He wasn't doing it for the well-being of the actual scriptures. He was doing it for his own political gain. Okay, so the Christianity people have today is just Sumeria recycled. Yeah.
So I need to study more about the Sumerian society.
Exactly, but really, your foundation is right here in the book. The scripture.
Bible.
But it has to be read and broken down with the proper understanding for you to really see how they all meet together. All right.
The thing is, man, is there's so many different because I was just studying something with some Jews who were breaking down the Bible, putting it into context, and showing how the Bible is one continuous story, revolving themes and things of that nature. And yeah, was that reincarnation?
Reincarnation is in the Bible.
Okay, I would like to get into that a little bit. But so then that's from their perspective, you know what I mean? And everything they say is validated, you know what I mean? Able to create all these links. So what I found is like, man, I had to open my mind to the infinite possibility, because really, as long as you can create a valid explanation for it, then it's kind of like, you know, something that you can either choose to believe or not. You know what I mean? So then, you know, I find it difficult to really kind of say, put a focus on this and say, this is the only truth, you know what I mean?
And you know, it's been done purposely.
Yeah.
The Lord calls them snares and stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of this information out here, and disinformation as well. There's a lot of disinformation, which is just thrown out here. So pretty much any opinion, whether you for something or against something, you can go online and find an argument for both, which is meant to confuse everybody.
Just going back into the whole child, everybody being one, right? This is 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. It said, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Now, the original person to do this was Nimrod, one we read about in Genesis chapter 10. He built the Tower of Babel. He wanted all people to come together and forsake whatever customs they had to just join together. You see that happening today with this technocracy, okay? They're going to use technology to create a global community, right? Which is the same thing the Tower of Babel was trying to do, the same thing the Greeks and the Romans were trying to do. This is the Rome revived, okay? That's why the architecture is the way it is. It's the Roman Empire revived again. That's why they have a Senate. That comes from the Roman Empire. Alexander and Rome all created this system where there was no longer a monarchy, but there was a Senate. So all of these systems, all of these civilizations have tried to accomplish the same goal, and they've all failed miserably.
Yeah, because like it's the Tower of Babylon, where all the languages were now split up. Okay, exactly. That's how you have these different cultures and nations and languages.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
And I'll show you why. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Okay, so the Lord mapped out every nation and their nationalities, their lands, to be separated. All right, that was the Lord's will, which is why he destroyed the Tower of Babel in the first place.
That's your original land, not Jamaica.
Exactly.
That so-called white man, they covered all these people. These are the names they gave us. They covered all this is the biblical name. This is the Bible. These are names that when we was conquered, they gave us these names. Like Puerto Rico, right? Their biblical name is Ephraim, which means group. Puerto Rico, when they went over there, they saw the diamonds and gold that was there. So they called it a rich port, the port of riches. So Puerto Rico means rich port, the port of riches. Levi.
That's
Levi, that's the so-called Haitian, right. The biblical name is Levi. That's what they call it. They all gave us these names.
So a proper understanding of the Bible is better than a college education. President Theodore Roosevelt said a proper understanding of the Bible is better than a college education, because in these scriptures you find out who the children of Israel are. You find out why our people are so destroyed as well.
Wow.
So let's get into that. Let's get Deuteronomy.
So this is the Lord's will, and because of their disobedience.
Disobedience.
Right.
You got it, brother. You got it, brother. That's exactly why we're in the predicament we're in, and that's why we put the sign on here so you can see all of our nations. Because this is, you know, we all consider, the Lord said, a nation and a company of nations. Because every son is his own nation.
Yeah.
But together we make up a nation of Israel. We all have to follow the same laws, statutes, and commandments which the Lord chose our people above all nations. We're going to get that in the scripture, all right? We ain't just going to say it. So let's get that. Let's get Deuteronomy 7:6 first. Because the Lord, popular to contrary belief, the Lord had a chosen people.
It's perfect for us.
And the chosen people are the Israelites, the ones that got delivered out of Egypt. Now the Lord made a contract with them, okay? And this is one of the things the Lord told our nation of people, all right?
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. But thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahawah thy power. The Lord Yahawah thy power has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So our people, wherever we're scattered, we all try to fight to be equals to people we're not meant to be equal to. And it's just the Lord's decision. All right, that's why the pastors don't bring these out in the scriptures. The Holy Roman Catholic Church, they don't bring this out in the scriptures because it tells you that the Lord has a chosen people that he placed above all people. The purpose is because we're supposed to represent the righteousness of the Lord on earth. The same way you got so-called white men sitting in courtrooms, giving men hundreds of years to live around other men until they die. The Lord meant for our nation to sit in judgments and judge according to his laws and his statutes, what he deemed was fair and righteous. Not what the so-called white men do. But the Lord put him on top to show us how not to do.
So what's the purpose of the women?
Proverbs 16:4. So yeah, we'll get into that too. Because the Lord has balance, all right? So our nation is supposed to represent righteousness. You know, being righteous. You know, our nation is supposed to be, when they see our people, they're supposed to be like, that's what righteousness is like. The reason we're so destroyed is because we left the way of righteousness. We were disobedient. So the so-called white man, his purpose is this.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. The Lord Yahawah hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil.
Now, in the scriptures, the so-called white man is known as the Edomites, all right? He's actually the twin brother of Jacob, all right? Which is the original name of our forefather Israel. Before his name was Israel, it was Jacob. He had a twin brother. And we're going, you know what?
Right, this out. This is Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
And the wicked is known as the Edomites. Malachi 1 and 4. The wicked is known as the Edomites. All right, their nation is known as the wicked. That's just like you have the righteous. You got to have a villain. You have a hero in the movie. You got to have a villain. You have to have opposites. The Lord is balanced. People like to say God is all love. God is balanced. He's a balance between both, which is why they call him the Most High God, which is the Most High Power or the Most High Judge. That's why in Proverbs it say he created the evil, but he created the wicked for the day of evil. We're in the day of evil. We're actually living and breathing in the day of evil. People don't recognize it because there are so many distractions in this world that they don't have time to stop and think about the world that they live in, which was done purposely by the wicked. Got it?
Malachi chapter 1, verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So here's the Lord saying that he hates the nationality of people. You don't hear this in Christianity, but we're reading it right out of the Bible.
I'm gonna read. I'm gonna go to verse 2.
He hates. I don't mean to interrupt you, but so he hates these individuals. Isn't he the creator?
Right.
So why?
I got you. So
I read you Proverbs 16 before. He say he created the wicked, just to be destroyed.
Yeah.
I got you. So this is Romans chapter 9, verse 13. All right, this is Paul quoting this same section of scripture.
It's the New Testament and the Old Testament.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God?
You just made a mention of it, right?
God forbid. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. So ultimately it goes down to the Lord's pleasure. Him being a perfect balance, he has to have a balance between good and evil. He has to have a balance of love and hate. People he look at and he adore, and the opposite of that. All right? All emotions, everything that we have as emotions, everything that we express in this world comes from the highest. We're just smaller expressions of all of those emotions.
Not this time.
No assist? Take a water. Get your water. Stay hydrated.
Bring that out some more.
Come. So Romans chapter 9, Lord, I'll start up again. So this is Romans chapter 9, verse 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, because Esau and Jacob were born out of the loins of Isaac. They were twins in the womb of Rebekah. You want to get that in Genesis? Yeah, let's get that in Genesis, and then we'll because Paul is quoting all of the Old Testament. The Christians today like to tell you that the Old Testament is done away with. But in order for you to truly understand the New Testament, you have to thoroughly have a foundational understanding of the Old. You got it, all right?
This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren.
Right. So she couldn't have kids. So he was praying to the Lord to let his wife have a seed. You got it?
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Right.
And the children struggled within her, together within her.
So she's having a rough pregnancy right now. She said that the twins are fighting in her womb right now, giving her trouble. You got it?
And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So she's asking, if this was meant to be, why is it like this? Why is it so hard? Why is my pregnancy so hard? If you granted our prayers and gave us the seed, why is it so hard? Why am I going through this tough pregnancy?
And she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So even though they're twins, 2 different nations are in the womb, because in Genesis, a lot of men, even of the same family, got different nations of people, and the Lord will proclaim it. For example, Abraham got the Israelites, all right, and the Ishmaelites, the Arabs. His nephew Lot gave birth to the Japanese and the Chinese that we know today. They're known in the scriptures as Moab and Ammon. They're the result of an ancestral relationship. With his 2 daughters.
The daughter got Lot drunk in wine after the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. They got him drunk. They had sex with him.
So just making an example of how the Lord is separating nations right now. He's creating nations right now that's going to play their role throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament. These are the 2 key characters in the Lord's movie, Jacob and Esau. We're about to learn what the Lord is going to say about them before they even came out of the womb. You got it.
Say this real quick. That's why Moab and Ammon, Chinese Japanese, that's why they got down our syndrome. Because Lot's daughter had sex with them.
It's called an epicantic fold. The way they eyes go, it's an epicantic fold. And it comes from the, you get those kind of traits from ancestral relationships. All right, so their entire nation is a product of ancestral relationships, which is why they have the eye trait that they have. It's nothing, it is what it is. We're just bringing it out according to the scriptures.
Who were they intended to procreate with?
Their father.
Yeah.
So who were they supposed to, like, if it wasn't on the
they had situations back in Sodom and Gomorrah, and when they fled, it was only them. The Lord destroyed literally the whole city of Sodom and Gomorrah and only saved Lot and his family.
So this wasn't necessarily like out of their free will, like the Lord didn't.
Well, they believed that they were the only people on the earth. So the daughters felt like they weren't going to have a lineage or a family to continue because this was the only man left on the earth, their father. So out of them being simple, they did that, but it was ultimately the Lord's will for that to happen because those 2 nations had to come on the earth and play their role. So we're going to get back to Jacob and Esau. I just want to bring out an example of how the Lord, even in the same family, the Lord will separate and create nations out of different people in the same family. All right, you got it.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
So two different nations, and those 2 different nations are going to have 2 different mannerisms. One mannerism is going to be different from the other twin. You got it.
And the people shall be, and one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And that's Jacob. Jacob is stronger than the so-called white man. Whether it be in sports, whether it be mentally, intellectually. The only reason our people aren't put on a pedestal intellectually is because from a child up, you're taught that you're a criminal and an animal and a dog. So our people, they ingest that in their subconscious, and they project what the world has been putting on them, that they ain't shit. But really, our people are stronger in every aspect than every other people on this planet. That's why you don't get Michael Jordan or George Washington Carver, Kobe Bryant. You don't Michael Jackson. You don't get those kind of that many stars and that much talent in any other nation than our people. Our people produce. The Lord called our people the salt of the earth. Without salt, you don't have no flavor. That's what the Lord was comparing us to. We're the seasoning of all of people. So he's saying right here in this scripture that one people shall be stronger than the other. You got it, huh?
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. So remember that. The elder shall serve the younger. All right? You got it.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right.
And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment.
So in the ancient world, we would dye our garments red. All right. So what he's saying is that the first baby came out red all over, which is what you have today when a so-called white child is born. They're not born like a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper when they consider themselves white. They're actually red like a lobster because their blood shows forth through their skin. They lack pigmentation. So what you're seeing in the scriptures is a description of a newborn so-called white baby. And he's been described as being red all over, like a hairy garment, which is a garment that our forefathers used to dye and wear. It was a red garment that they dyed and wore during the winter or whatever the case may be. Got it.
And they called his name Esau.
And remember, this is the first child to come out. Remember, the prophecy was that the elder shall serve the younger. You got it.
And after that came out his brother, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. So
they never give a description of him. Because he looked like everybody else that was on the planet. Dark-skinned people, which were dark-skinned, melanated people. You can't get so-called black people from white people. They don't work like that. Genetically, our genes are dominant. Their genes are recessive, which is why if we have sex with their nation, they automatically always take the features of our people because our genes were genetically dominant. Their genes are recessive, meaning that if we got together with a so-called white woman, for example, the child will come out having Negro features because our genes are more dominant. All right, so he's telling you that the elder shall serve the younger, one people shall be stronger than the other. And Esau came out first. And then they didn't give a description of how Jacob came out. Esau's look was so controversial, they had to put it in the records. They had to put it in our records to let us know this was odd. Because before the world got a hold of this was our records of our family. When Moses went to Mount Sinai, this is what the Lord gave him. The beginning of how everything started. And the laws. That's what he came down with. So he came down with an understanding of how our nation came to be, of how the flood happened, even though our people already knew it because we were orally translating our things, just like in Kemet. What were they doing? They had oral tradition. Our nation for a long time had oral tradition. This was one of the key moments where our laws and our records were actually put down in stone and written for our remembrance. So right here, this is the Lord telling us how our nation, the Israelites, got started and what our nation was supposed to have because the Lord gave blessings to a particular people, all right? And we're going to get into that as well.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Right.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Right.
And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
So when it says that he was a man of the field, meaning he liked to hunt. The so-called white man today loves to hunt. He's a man of the field. And it says that Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Our people naturally like to chill. Hit the porch, drink a couple brews, talk, shoot, play dice, spades, whatever. But we not about that. Go out in the wilderness and just wild out like we. They said Esau was a cunning hunter. What do they do now? Cunning meaning crafty and smart, not necessarily brave. All right. So Esau go out in the so-called white man go out in the woods. He'll put duck piss all over himself, and then he'll make the sound of a woman, of a female of the animal he's trying to hunt.
Right.
So to bring the male, and then he'll shoot him from a close hidden distance.
Right.
All right. That means he's cunning. It doesn't mean he was brave. It just means he was cunning. He was crafty. And we see the same craft today, just with all this technology available to him, with all power given into his hands for a point in time. But these are indicators of who's who in the scriptures, all right? Because the controversy has always and always will be around the nation of Israel and Esau, his twin brother. And we're going to find out why.
I'll bring this up real quick.
Bring it out,
Because everything in this Bible is a mystery. And it's only for the Israelites. Figure out, the Bible is in parables, these parabolic, allegories, mysteries, simple codes. Right? So this is Matthew chapter 13, verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables?
Right.
And he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. But to them it is not given.
So the reason the Lord puts that's why a lot of people pick up the scriptures and they say it's too confusing, they don't understand it. It was purposely done like that. The Lord purposely did that because only the ones who were meant to get this, coming back in the reincarnation, only they were going to be able to understand it. And it was only meant for them to understand. That's why the Bible is the #1 selling book in the globe, across the country, across the globe. But nobody can really understand this book and break it down. Because it's only given to a few. That's what the Lord's saying. It was given to them, but unto you it was not. Unto you it was given, but unto them it was not given. So let's go to Genesis 27. All right, because the sons grow up, right? Jacob and Esau grow up. Now Isaac, the Lord blessed Isaac and gave him a covenant. The Lord said to Isaac that in his seed, all the nations were going to be blessed. In his seed, all the families of the earth are going to be blessed. That's an inheritance. Now that inheritance has to be passed down to the next worthy individual. Now the Lord gave a prophecy. What did he say about Jacob and Esau? What did he say about the elder?
The elder of the servant.
All right, that's a part of the prophecy before they were even born. All right, so let's get the blessings.
All right, so this is Genesis chapter 27. We start at verse 22. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said.
So let me give you the backdrop. All right, so Isaac in the scriptures, he favored Esau because he loved to eat the meat that Esau hunted. He favored him as a son. But the Lord had said before they were even born that the elder was going to serve the younger. So even though Isaac favored Esau and wanted to give him the blessing, the Lord had another plan. Matter of fact, let's go to when Esau sold that birthright.
Okay.
I think it's good. Yes.
It says Genesis chapter 27.
Go ahead. No, you got it. I'll bring out the script.
Genesis chapter 27, verse. I'm gonna start at 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
So let's go back when Esau sold it for a portion of red meat, because you have to understand before Isaac was going to give the inheritance, he was about to die. So he had to give the inheritance to either Jacob or Esau. All right. Isaac didn't know that. We're about to get into the story of what Isaac was not aware of before he came to give the inheritance up.
Okay, so you can go back to Isaac or Esau?
No, the
pottage?
Yeah, right here.
And this is Genesis chapter 25, verse 29. And Jacob saw a pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Right, he was hungry.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. For I am faint, therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?
So Jacob's name means supplanter. In modern terms, it would be like a finesse. So Jacob was telling Esau was like, let me get some of that food, I'm hungry. Jacob said something. birthright, and I get it. So let's get it. Okay. So this is how we, before we get into the inheritance being given, we gotta get an understanding of what happened, because Esau was trying to be slick.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
So Esau gave up his birthright for a meal. Everything that he stood to gain from the Lord, the inheritance, the blessings for his nation, he gave it up for one meal. So he sold his birthright fair and square. Now let's get a little bit more Isaac. Right. Yeah, top of 27.
Okay, this is Genesis chapter 27, verse 1. And it came to pass, then when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. Here am I.
Right.
And he said, behold, now I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison,
right,
and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
So Isaac's plan was that he was going to give Esau the birthright. He was like, go out in the field, son, hunt me a good meal, because in Isaac's mind, this might be his last meal. So he like, go hunt me out some good, and I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna verbally give the inheritance. So before there was written wills, our forefathers verbally gave blessings away. All right. Now in our culture, the firstborn is entitled to a double portion of the father's inheritance. So in our law, the firstborn has rightful heir to the inheritance of the father, a double portion. But remember, before they were even born, the Lord said the elder was going to serve the younger. All right? And then don't forget, Esau sold that birthright. And Esau, just continue a little bit and then we can jump straight to the point.
And Rebekah heard what Isaac spake unto Esau, his son. Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it.
So Esau, even though he knew damn well he sold that birthright, he still went out to do a hunt because he still wanted to get the blessing. So he had a lack of integrity. So Rebekah heard what was going on, and she remembered the prophecies that was given to her in Genesis 25th chapter. She remembered that the elder was supposed to serve the younger, therefore meaning the younger was going to get that blessing. So let's go down to the blessing, because what happened was Rebekah put some goat skin or lamb skin or something to make Jacob seem furry, because Esau was red and he was a very hairy man, like the so-called white man is today. And she was trying to mimic that because remember, Isaac is blind. So she did that, and Jacob went. Let's get the story.
So that's why the Lord blinded Isaac, so he couldn't see Jacob when he came in. So Rebekah told him to put on. See, back then they used to kill the animal, they used to make the coat or whatever out of the animal skin, right? So Rebekah told Jacob, go put on some of your brother's clothes that he made from the animal, right? So he'll feel hairy. So Isaac rubbed on him. Because that's why the Lord made him blind, so he couldn't see Jacob. So the only way he was going to be able to come in and to see his father was to put on the garments. Because they tell you that Esau came out red and hairy, right? He came out red all over like a hairy garment. So it was a smell from the outdoor, from the animal that Esau used to kill. It was that smell in the field.
Right, that as well.
That Isaac was going to be, okay, yeah, you my son. Because Esau always wore the garments, whatever animal that he killed, right?
Let me get that part for you. Okay, so we're going to get that account in scripture. So this is Genesis 27 and 16. Yes, we left off at 16.
16 is what you call the goat skin.
You know what? Just continue at 6.
All right.
We just read the whole account. Right.
And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau, thy brother, saying, Bring me business and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death.
Right.
Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I commanded thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 goat kids of the 2 goat Salakia, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loved.
Right.
And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
Right.
My father, peradventure, will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver.
So peradventure means perhaps, all right? And that's like an old English way of saying perhaps. When he said that I'm a smooth man, our people don't grow hair that crazy like that. So-called white man has the hair, the hairy, he's like the hairy man. So even that's an indication of who's who in the scriptures. Who's descended from who. All right? You got it, huh?
And I shall seem to him as a deceiver,
Right.
and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing.
So remember, Isaac has no idea that Esau sold that birthright straight up.
You don't know that yet.
Right. Isaac has no idea that happened. And what Jacob is afraid of is that if he go to his father trying to be like Esau, and if he's found out, Lord, his father can put a curse on him. And that curse is valid. You know, that curse will go down, and that'll be his legacy. So he was afraid that his father would look at him like he's trying to deceive him, not knowing that Esau fair and square sold a birthright. All right, you got it.
And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
Right.
And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat such as his father loved.
All right, so let's go ahead and get down to the blessing.
Okay.
Now we got the story.
Okay, this is verse 26. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment,
Right.
and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed.
Right.
Therefore, God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine.
That's talking about substance, the substance of the earth and rulership.
Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren,
Right.
and let thy mother's son bow down to thee.
Right.
Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
Exactly. So that's the exact same blessing that Abraham had gave Isaac. Isaac right now is giving it to Jacob. Even though he thinks it's Esau, he's rightfully giving it to Jacob because that was the Lord's will. Now there's key points in that. The Lord said the dew of heaven, the fatness of the earth, which means the top and the chief of all good things on the earth. Let people serve thee. Let thy brother bow down to thee. All of these are indications of rulership that Jacob was promised by his father Isaac. All right. So continue on that.
And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob,
Right.
and Jacob went scarce, gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
So Esau came right behind him because Esau had no idea that Jacob slipped in and got the blessing that he sold anyway. So it showed you that Esau was a snake from the beginning, because what Esau did was he sold the birthright and then tried to go behind Jacob's back and get the birthright from his father anyway. So here he is coming in after Jacob has already received the blessing. You got it all.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
Did you skip the part where he said, I have already made thy brother Lord over thee?
No.
Okay, come on.
And he said, It's not he rightfully named Jacob, but he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away.
Yeah, you skipped it.
Yeah, okay, let me back. Let me jump down. Verse 31, Genesis chapter 27, verse 31. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father and said unto his father, let me, father, arise and eat of his son's venison, that thou mayest bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
Right.
And Isaac trembled with exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that have taken venison and brought it me, and I have eaten of all before thou camest?
Right.
And have blessed him, ye, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the word of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also,
right.
O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing.
Right.
And he said, is not he rightfully named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. And he took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing.
Now remember in Genesis 25 what the prophecy said. The prophecy said that the elder was going to serve the younger. So even though Esau felt like he was being wrong, Esau wasn't dealing justly. He had sold his birthright, and then he tried to go and get it anyway. All right, and now the Lord has played his role, and the Lord's having his will come out. All right, so you got it.
And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord.
Right.
And all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
Exactly. So the nation of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, they are the rightful lords of the so-called white man. And that's the inheritance of our forefathers. It's like finding out you've been an orphan your whole life, and you find out your biological parents had this big ass estate that you didn't know about. This is what the Lord is actually doing for our people. Our people is walking around being destroyed, have no idea that the so-called white man that most of our people look up to is actually their servant, according to the Lord's will. So you got it all. Because Esau's Isaac felt so bad and he loved Esau so much, he gave Esau a blessing. You don't hear about Esau's blessing.
And with corn and wine have I sustained him, and what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Right.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also.
Right.
O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth,
Right.
and of the dew of heaven from above.
Right.
And by the sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So when he says that the brother, us, we're going to rule over them, we did rule over them at a point in time. During the scriptures, during King David's reign, we had the so-called white people as tributaries. The so-called white man and his nation were tributaries. But there came a time when our nation came down, and when our nation came down, that was the breaking of the yoke off their neck, which loosed them for a season. And now they're loose right now for a season. But the Lord is still going to give the blessing and the inheritance to us.
So it seems really like a lot of it is about the struggle like right now.
It is. But let's put this in perspective. Let's put this in perspective, all right? You are who your father is. So it's not a color thing. Because we're not black people. This is black. We're all different shades of brown. We're melanated people. They're black men. Because you have East Indians, they're just as dark as us, but they're not our people. All right, so it's not necessarily a white and black thing, but it's a nationality. The majority of the so-called white people you see walking around are from the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, and I'm gonna get this book right here. This is called "Who is Esau, Edom?" All right, and in this book, a Jewish scholar tells you who the Edomites are. So who Esau is and who his descendants are. All right.
Now this book is online for over $2,000. This book right here, which was 10, 15 years ago, it was only like $17, $20. They don't want people getting this information because they tell you in Psalm 64:8, they shall make their tongue fall upon their own selves. Meaning these so-called white people, you say so-called white because they're not white, they're real. They got scholars that write books explaining who they really are. So he's gonna bring this out. This one of the books.
All right, and this is what the brother was saying. This is Amazon. This is the same book you're looking at. And if you look, they only got one used copy for $3,000. This is the same book. So this same book is on Amazon for $3,000.
This is the same Esau, even the so-called white man, revealing who they is. Biblical man.
All right, so this is page 5, and I got it highlighted so you can see it. It says Esau was the firstborn of Isaac, and thus was the heir to the birthright derived from the direct racial lineage of Adam to Noah to Abraham. Thus Esau was racially an Adamite, a Shemite, and a Hebrew, the racial stock of the white race.